Hi everyone, it's me, Leigh with Victorian Dreams by Leigh. Thank you for stopping by. So this is a project share like I just showed you the video before this, but also I'm going to just show you real quick at the end how to put just the album together. It's 4 sheets of paper, it's really quick, and I prepped. So I already showed you this one and we'll walk through it and explain, and then I wanted to show you this one because I saved 9 sheets of paper. So I wanted to show you, I critiqued it a little bit. So it is 8 1/4 by 5, I think, with a 1-inch spine. Yeah, I think so. And so here it is. And let's see, the paper I used on this was Crafter's Companion Vintage. And the good thing about this paper is it's for card making, so it has all these die cuts in the back. And I didn't even use half of them. So it makes it easy, and it's double-sided. And when it's double-sided, I only used half the sheets of paper because I cut one side and then flipped it, and I used both sides of the paper for my pattern, and so I used even less paper on that too. So, okay, so on this one I have the 4-page papers to make the whole album, and it's called Stack the Deck. This is stacking the deck hinge type. But what I did was I used 9 and cut into the right size, and I'll give you that size in a second. Matted it here with the blue and then put the pattern paper, and I did it all the way through. And I'm thinking, wow, that's really heavy and a lot of paper, but that's great. But when you have heavy pattern paper, you don't need to mat it. So I didn't mat it. Or you could mat it just on the outside to give it that oomph you're looking for. But when you're using heavy cardstock and then heavy pattern paper, I think you can save you some paper if you want. I'm lucky enough I can go to Dallas and buy wholesale paper, and I'm paying less than a penny for linen cardstock that is top quality. But anyway, let's just look through it and then I'll show you how to stack this deck of album. So here we go. And I made pockets with the leftover paper. I made pockets on the pages. So, but this is a album. And then I thought about getting these two and maybe gluing them down right here and just making tuck spots to put the photos. So if I had a photo, and you could just tuck it like that. And then my next album, I'm literally going to make it so it looks this way and opens this way, and then the albums, when you're looking at it, is this direction on my next one, because most of mine are landscape and not the tall. So that's my next thought. But so I was thinking about gluing these down in the center, because this is the center of the album, and having tuck spots. But let's finish walking through this. And then I have pockets. I have 6 pockets, and all it is extra paper, the extra paper. And you wonder, well, what paper went with what? Whatever was on the back side, I just put right here. So there is that album. So if you followed me yesterday, all you have to do is use this as the solid measurements, because you still want that 1/8 all the way around, or if you want 1/4 all the way around. So here are the measurements, and you can screenshot it. Okay? But let me tell you. So this says solid paper where I put the blue right here. Well, instead of cutting this even smaller where it says pattern to go on top, the pattern paper on this one is 4 3/4 by 8 1/4. But if I had it a solid, then I would go down one. So that's all you need to know. And then I also, it says 4 to 5, but I like 6 pockets. I like equal numbers. So yeah, and then the spine, if you're only using pattern paper, you would want to use the solid numbers. So I hope you understand that. So to make your album, the 4 sheets, let's do that right now. The lady, I already rewrote all my measurements and everything, and the lady that did this, lyric something, and it's on the video prior to this one. If you want her link and follow her tutorial, but I am going to show you. So we need one paper 8.5 by 11. We need one paper 8.5 by 10 3/4, one paper 8.5 by 10 1/2, and one paper 8.5 by 10 1/4. Okay, and here are the papers, and one I didn't have to cut, and the other 3 here are the 3 that I cut off the long side, and that's all your waist. So that's so nice on this album. So okay, let's get started. I already prepped and already glued, but I still want to walk you through it. So the 8.5 by 11, this is why it's so simple. Score at 5, flip it around, and score at 5 again. Of course, you could go to the 6, but it's just easier. This whole concept is score at 5, flip around, and score at 5 again. On your biggest sheet, 8.5 by 11, do not put tape here until you're ready to put your pattern paper here. And I would use my pattern paper and put glue on the pattern paper. That way you don't have extra tape or glue hanging out the side. Say if this is your pattern paper and you put tape everywhere here, when you put your pattern paper here and you have a border, you would have glue or tape stuck there that would catch lint and hair. So always put, when you're doing the outside, always put the tape on your pattern paper and glue it down. So okay, there's your one. Now the next one is, the next size is 8.5 by 10 3/4. That's 8.5 and 10 3/4. So score it at 5, flip around, score it at 5, put tape in between the score lines after you fold it and burnish on both, and then tape. And it took 3 1/4. Okay, so we'll put that there. We're ready. We're fixing to stack it. The next one is 8.5 by 10 1/2. So we did 8.5 by 11. We did 8.5 by 10 3/4. Now this is 8.5 by 10 1/2, and we score it at 5. Flip around and score it at 5 again. We then burnish and make sure it's straight. We line it up with our edges, and we burnish both sides. And then we put 2 strips of tape, or however glue, whatever you use, right there. Okay. Then our last piece of paper is 8.5 by 10 1/4. And we score at 5, we flip it and score at 5 again. Of course, we could get that measurement of 5 1/4, but it's just easier 5 in your head and you don't go wrong. Okay, so we put that up, we're done. We're done with the scoreboard, we're done with the cutting. So we burnish both of our creases, and we take our time and line it up, and we burnish. Okay. So now we're ready to stack this deck. So what we do is we want all those pieces to be in the middle. Let's see if you can see that. I don't know if you can see that. Okay, so this is black, so hopefully it's not going to be too hard for y'all to see. So I have my first one, and it is the biggest, and it is the 8.5 by 11. So I am going to now take the next size, and I'm going to peel the tape off. And I think after me making this whole tutorial real quick, or show and tell, or whatever, it helps you understand how quick and easy it is. And I burnished my tape all down too. But just to make sure that I'm on my edges, I always put glue on my tape, especially on a binding like this, to make sure it stays down. So I put three. So, and if it's comes out, I'll wipe it up and it dries clear. So all I do is I am going right in between. Let me put my better glasses on so I can see. I am going right in between these two score lines, and I'm going to put this and I'm going to layer it right in between so it looks in between, and pull it down just a hair. And before I push it down, I am going to line it up with my fingers, and it's lined up, and then I push it down. And if the glue comes out, that's good. It means it went to the edges. So let's get rid of all the glue, and let's burnish this. Okay, half your book is done. Now we're going to take the next size, which is 10.5, the 8.5 by 10.5, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to peel the tape. Come on, tape. Peel the tape off. This is the book for beginners for sure. I really wish I still lived in Florida. All my nieces would be with me right now, and we would be making this, and a few nephews that would want to goof off with us. But the nieces never said no. Some of the nephews would say no, but some of them came. Okay, so now I am going to take it, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to center it in between the score lines and bring it down. And I'm going to, before I push down hard, I'm going to line it up with my finger. It's all lined up, and now I'm pushing down. And that glue doesn't let it grab as quick as tape, and so it gives you just a second to move stuff around. So that is very nice about that. So we've got 3/4 of it done. We got one more sheet, but let's burnish this down. And yes, there's glue coming out. This pink thing is just to block the lighting on y'all. So far, I don't know if you can see it. One more. Let me show you this stack the deck is what we're doing, because I think you can see it better. See how it's stacking it? Let's do the last piece. Okay, so we scored it, and we're going to, I like using tape, but whatever glue you like. We take that one piece of tape off. We add a little bit of glue because I never go right to the edge, so that always gets it to the edge, and then one strip down the middle on this one because it's only 1/4. And then I take it, and this two score lines go in between these two score lines as equal apart and equal as I can. So that looks, and this is really moving around a lot on this one. Yeah, that looks lined up. So I push it down, then I burnish it down. So there we go, guys. Let me get my glue, clean my glue up here. Clean the glue up. So there you go. There is the album. got glue on my fingers, but see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 pages that you can do. So this way, I'm going to do it this way this time. So remember, the next paper I'm going to use is this one. And this is Crafter's Companion. And it is the English quintessentially English. That's a hard word to say, I'm sorry. But so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, oh, this is not double-sided. Well, if it was double-sided like the last one, I'm going to still use it. If it was double-sided like the last one, you use this side and the back side. So let's see. Like this one right here is definitely double-sided, so I might use this one. So I'll cut this side, then I'll cut that side, then I'll cut this side, and so on. And so I'm only going to use 16 sheets of paper instead of having to double that. So anyway, I hope you enjoy that. I hope that that helps you a lot. Tomorrow when I make a video, we'll decorate this together and we'll figure out which color we're going to use. But here is the instructions one more time. Remember, if you are not using the solid to back it, then cut your pattern paper at 4 3/4 by 8 1/4. But if you're using the solid, then that should be this prices, the size of the solid, and 16 at 4 1/4 by 8 would be the pattern paper. But I hope that you understand what I'm saying there. If you don't, just let me know. But see how it's got 2 layers and this one only has 1. But because of the quality of my paper and the thickness of my paper, I'm able to save quite a bit of paper. What am I saving? 9 sheets of paper. That's a lot of paper. So I hope you like what I showed you. I hope that I wasn't too fast or didn't throw you off or anything, and I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you for watching and have a blessed day. Good night.